Hello everyone, welcome back to the data science program. In the previous two videos we have covered functions, and this is going to be the third video under functions only, and this is going to be a small concept based video. This is going to be a theoretical video. We are not diving into the coding part too much, so instead what we will do is we will just try to understand how functions are actually getting executed in memory. So this is going to be a thin line of this video, and we will just learn about this small concept, but this is really important for the concept building. So I'll directly take you guys to the collab notebook. So in the previous video we have seen one small function. We have created one small function to check whether a number is even or not, so we will use the same function. So I will type def and the name of the function is going to be even, and under that we will pass one parameter num, and we will check if num modulus 2 equals to 0. We will return even. We will return even, else we will return okay, we have else we will return odd, and at last we will call the function. So we will call and we will print whatever the result we are getting. So we will call even, and if we will pass 5, and if I run the cell we will get odd as the output. See, we are getting odd as the output, but that's not the issue here. With this code snippet we will understand how functions are actually executed in memory. So I will copy this, and there is a website called python.tutor.com. if you want to see how your code is getting executed line by line, so what you can do is you can copy your code and you can paste it on the Python tutor. So what I will do is I will copy this, and I will come to this python.tutor.com, and what I will do is I will go back and see I have written this same code here. So I have written the same code here. So what happens is whenever your Python interpreter finds this def keyword, it knows there is a function, so it jumps and it comes to this point, print even 5. So if I click on next, why I'm not getting this next option? You have to click on this visualize execution, then we will get this next option. See, we are getting this next option. So whenever your Python interpreter finds this def keyword, it knows there is a function, so it jumps, it comes to this point. So if I click, it will come to this point directly. It skips, and at this point there is a global frame creation. What is this global frame creation? This global frame creation is that area where your program actually executes. So at this moment we have a global frame where our program actually is going to get executed. So inside this global frame only, all the variables of that program are going to get created. So we'll have all the variables inside this global frame only of that particular program, and the program will execute in this area. And now we have come to this point. We have to print the result whether 5 is even or not. But before printing, what we have to do here is we have to, just for checking whether 5 is even or not, we have to solve this expression. We have to divide 5 by 2 and check whether the remainder is coming 0 or not. And for checking and for solving this expression, we have to first call the function. So if I click on next, we have called the function and we have come to this first line again. So when we have called the function, a separate function scope is created. Initially when Python interpreter, when we have come to this point, there was a global frame created, and when we have called the function, there is a function scope is created. The two separate frames are created. One is global frame and one is the function frame. So but what is the difference? When the function frame is created, all the variables inside that function is created inside this function scope, and the program executes in this global frame, and all the variables of that program is created in this global frame, and all the variables of that function is created inside this function scope. So what we can understood from this, what we can understand from this logic, the the thing to remember is this function also acts like a separate program. This function is acting like a separate program. So imagine if you have like 5 functions, these 5 functions will act like five small programs, and these programs will have their own variables. So now we have a function scope here, and it acts like a separate program, one small program. And now when we have called the function, we have come back to this first line only, and if I click on next, now it will check whether num 5 dividing 5 by 2 we will get whether we will get 0 as the remainder. Obviously we will not get the remainder as 0. When we will divide 5 by 2, we will get 1 as the remainder. So this is not satisfying, so we are not returning even. We are going to the else condition and we are returning odd. So if I click on next, we will simply return odd. See, we have come to this line. If I click on next, we will return odd. So we are returning odd. And now we are coming to this critical point where the function work is over. After returning this, the function work is over. So if I click on the next, this complete function scope will be destroyed. If I click on next, this function scope will be destroyed. See, function scope is no longer active, and all the variables inside the function is also destroyed. So what we can understand from this? So what is the lifespan of function? So lifespan of a function is between when you call the function and when you are returning. So when we have called, the function scope was created, and when we have returned this odd value, the function work is over and we have destroyed the function, and all the variables inside that function is also destroyed. And now we have simply printed odd on the output screen. So this logic, what I have done is I have written it on a page. See how functions are executed. We have used the same. Instead of this 5, I have written 7. So it's just think of this 7 as 5 only. There is nothing to shout about. There are few spelling mistakes, and I've written 7 instead of 5. So just think of this 7 as 5. I've written everything same which I've explained till now. So we have this: whenever Python interpreter finds def keyword, it knows there is a function, then it jumps the function and moves ahead. So in the exam, when it finds def keyword, it jumps to the print 5 into the last line, and at this point we will call the function, and rest everything will remain the same. So whatever I have discussed, I have written it in 3 pages. So you can go through these 3 pages. What you can do is you can take the screenshot of these 3 pages and you can go through this. Even if you don't want to go through these 3 pages, it's okay, because I have discussed everything, so nothing to shout about. So, and then there is one more concept, without return statement. So people, they get confused a lot. Instead, why they get confused is they think, if what will happen if I don't return this even, instead if I'm printing even. So what I will do is I will simply copy this and I will paste it over here. And instead of this return, what I will do is I will simply try to print. I will print even, and I will print odd. I will print odd. So what will happen is, here in this function we are not actually returning anything. Instead, what we are doing, we are simply printing. So it will check whether dividing 5 by 2, whether we are getting 0 as the remainder or not. We are not getting. Will come to this else condition and we will return odd. We will print odd. Till here we are not confused. And now to this print, what will happen is, this function does not have any return value, and when a function does not have a return value, it has a default return value, and that is equals to none. If your function is not returning anything, it will return none. It has a default return value. So if I run the cell, we will get odd as the output, and then we will return none, because there are functions there are few functions which does not return anything. There are functions which returns something, but there are functions which does not return anything, and if your function does not return anything, it by default it will return a default return value which is none. So by going by this logic, we have checked whether dividing 5 by 2 will give us 0 as the remainder. It's not giving 0 as the remainder, so it's we have coming to this else condition, we are printing odd, and it does not have a return value, so it returns none. So now that's about this small concept based video. This was a important video for the concept building, because you should know how functions are actually getting executed in memory. So that's about this video. We'll continue to study about functions only in the upcoming videos, because functions are super important. You should know how to use functions. Functions are the pillars of a building, so you should know how to use functions. So in the next 2-3 videos we will continue to study functions only, and that's about this video. Thank you for watching.